Buildings in ruins. Masses on the run. Ukraine is suffering from Russia's war of aggression. And anyone in Russia who dares speak out against it is taking an enormous risk.
I'm Russian myself. And what my own people are doing pains me, terrifies me, and embarrasses me.
I feel absolutely devastated and furious at my own helplessness and that everyone has lost their minds.
Olga Romanova and Lev Vladov have both fled Putin's Russia, state repression, and went to Berlin. What do they think about Russia's war on Ukraine? And how do they see their home country now? Demonstrators in Berlin carry yellow and blue flags to show their solidarity with Ukraine. Among them are one of the many Russians against the war here.
Just imagine this crowd in Moscow. What would happen then? They'd march toward the Kremlin.
Joining them is Olga Romanova, a Russian journalist and human rights activist who's lived in Berlin for 5 years. She's attended every demonstration against the war on Ukraine.
Freedom for Ukraine. Russia without Putin.
Romanova helped organize this march. She fled Moscow after a police raid on her NGO's offices in 2017.
Over 1,000 people have already been arrested because they took to the streets of Russian cities. These are brave and desperate people. And it's much harder for them than for us here because they've got neighbors and coworkers, parents or even children against them. Putin has divided my country. Putin has made it dangerous to express your views. My mother's even afraid to talk to me on the phone.
Berlin Central train station. Since the war broke out, Olga Romanova has been coming here every day. Thousands of refugees from Ukraine pass through here every day. The war came to Berlin long ago.
I'd really like to be able to say, yes, I'm from Ukraine, but I'm not. But I come here and help anyway.
It's almost 11 p.m. Olga has arranged to pick up a mother and her daughter arriving from Kyiv. But there's a problem.
Oh no! It's 100 minutes late. The train's delayed 1 hour and 40 minutes.
They speak on the phone. She decides to wait.
We can save people. We can do it every day, and we do. And if we do that, we might even be able to save Russia as well. Because if Ukraine wins, and of course they'll win, they have to win because they'll never give up. Then Russia will have a chance to be free of this garbage.
The train from Warsaw. Olga doesn't know what the women she's here to meet look like. They'd arranged to recognize one another by a scarf in the colors of Ukraine's flag.
Are you Inna and Katya? No, I'm not. Here we are, hello. Hello, you're Katya. You're Inna. Now everything will be fine. Thank you for waiting for us. Of course. It took us 30 hours to get here from Lviv. We were stopped at the border for 10 hours. Luckily, we didn't have to go on foot.
Katya's father had to stay in Ukraine. He will help defend the country. Olga has found a place for Ina and Katya to stay. The next morning, they'll be moving on to meet friends in Copenhagen, where they plan to wait out the war. The following day, Olga meets with fellow activist Yuri in her apartment. They're joined as well by a cat, Shura. Together, they help Russian anti-war activists leave the country.
Hello in Georgia. So you've made it into Georgia. Do you have any documents proving that you were arrested twice in Russia? Very good.
They're on their phones non-stop. They communicate via messaging apps with people trying to leave Russia. So far, over 25,000 Russians have taken the route through Georgia. Most direct flights to the west have been stopped because of the war.
The people fleeing Russia understand how terrible this war is and what's happened to our country.
You're only allowed to call the war a special operation.
Many girls have been arrested for simply displaying posters of peace.
In Russia, it's almost impossible to protest against the invasion of Ukraine. Around 15,000 people have been arrested so far. Restrictions on freedom of speech have been tightened to the extreme. Even balloons in the colors of the Ukrainian flag can trigger the state authorities.
The first priority for Russians right now is to get out of there. Just get out. We'll save people in Russia. We'll save people in Ukraine. We'll save people from Putin.
Lev Vladov is one of the Russians who fled the country to Berlin. He wrote a well-known blog calling for sustainable development of his home city, Chelyabinsk. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine, he took a critical stance and was hit with serious consequences.
My friends and relatives started writing that I was taking the position of an enemy of the state. I was aghast, just devastated. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was in danger of physical violence because of my views. And that's what people were threatening me with in the comments they wrote.
Lev quickly packed his things and drove to the EU, to Estonia, in his car. His friends in Berlin have taken him in for the time being. Now, his future and his plans are both uncertain.
The whole life I was leading in my own country has been cut short. All my plans, a huge collection of friends, all my books. I don't know if I'll have a chance to see any of that again in the next 10 years.
A remnant of the Berlin Wall. At one time, it stood for the division of the world. Now, Lev Vladov sees a new wall going up between Putin's supporters and his opposition, and it runs through his own family.
My mom told me, I forbid you to act against Putin. And I realize it's not my mom talking. She lives in this information bubble, and I'll never be able to explain it to her. That's because of this propaganda war. It's really awful. This war on information was carefully planned.
At a demonstration in front of the Russian embassy, Lev runs into like-minded countrymen. Berlin has become a gathering point for liberal-minded Russians. Many of them have come to protest and call for the withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine. The white, blue, and white flags are meant to distance themselves from the Russian government and are a symbolic break with their home country.
That's why I've got a new flag here. It's not a Russian flag. It's a flag for all Russians who are against this war.
It's probably the first time in my life I haven't known what to do. I devoted 5 years of my life to improving my city. I really wanted to live in my hometown. I wanted to make the streets safer and see the economy develop. I worked towards all this, but suddenly it turns out that it was all for nothing, because without democracy, the city can't modernize.
Stop Putin's war, the demonstrators chant in front of the embassy. Olga Romanova is there too. She plans to stay in Berlin until democracy returns to Russia.
There was a Russia, but now it's all gone. Now there are two countries inside one. I very much like the other flag, white, blue, and white, with the blood cleaned off it. It has no red stripe. That Russia is coming out now under this flag. It's a Russia that's completely different. I don't know what this Russia could possibly have in common with the one that demands Ukrainian blood and war, or how they could be related at all.
Also in Berlin, there are Russians who support Putin's policies of aggression. But free-thinking Russians take to the streets to protest against Putin. They demand an immediate withdrawal of the Russian army from Ukraine and greater freedom of speech in Russia, so that demonstrations like this one could be held there too.